Jewish tribe. He killed the whole family of a newly bride called Safiyyah. And he took her as a wife the same time he was returning to Medina. Would you put that as a role model for me today in the 21st century?
Okay, I see. I'll let you go from here, but there's actually a prophecy in this story with the wife of Sophia. But go ahead, take it away, and we can get into that prophecy that he obviously didn't mention because he's coming at a twisted angle.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, here's the thing. If there's one thing that people can take from this is this, and I think it's really important, right? There's a saying that says a text without a context is a pretext for a proof text. I know that sounds very confusing, right? A text without a context is a pretext for a proof text, meaning that it's a pretext for decontextualization, for basically making the text out as you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right. The story of Safiyyah radiallahu anha is that when Khaybar was done, and Khaybar happened right after Sulh al-Hudaybiyah.
Now we're getting context.
Yes.
Which obviously none of them are giving.
Scholarly
references, context.
I don't think he knows what that is.
Yeah.
That's the problem. So Safiyyah radiallahu anha, before even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Medina, her own father, Huyay ibn Akhtab, and her Yasir, her uncle Yasir, they went out when the Prophet alaihi salatu wasallam first came to Medina. They both went out to verify if this is the prophet they're waiting for or not.
I want people to pay attention. This is really deep now, because why are they there in this area? That's another thing before we get there. They're there what? Anticipating what? A prophet, right?
One would think, yes.
They're there, and now they're going out because they know the signs. They know, but
out of all the places in the world, that is another $1 million question.
But this is in the Bible also. Mecca, it's there. Yathrib, everything is there. It's in the Bible.
The Mounts of Paran.
It's there in the Bible, right? Is this coincidence? No, it's right there in front of you. Go ahead.
So they went out and they did see that, okay, this is the long-awaited prophet that they're waiting for. And by the way, even though we're kind of going down a different avenue here, there is a text of this similarity or of this sort that's found in the New Testament. When the rabbis were asking, are you John the Baptist? They said no. They said, are you the Messiah? They said no. They said, are you that prophet? Yes. So the first century...
That's actually, I want to plug, once you said that, Dr. Lawrence Brown, he actually mentions this in his book, Godded. He talks about that argument.
Okay.
This is a Christian atheist. He went to Christianity, came to Islam, accepted. I just happen to have his book here. Good friend of mine. Exactly that verse, that situation, he brings up quite often. Very powerful.
Is it like you said? I think two things here to mention. Is it just really mere coincidence that out of all the places in the world, they come to Yathrib?
Yeah. They
come to Medina. They migrate to Medina from where Allah knows best. The second thing is, as you mentioned earlier, is that this is known. So the Jews, first century Palestinian Jews, were still waiting for another Messiah. They were waiting for that prophet. And that prophet is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when Prophet alaihi salatu wasallam, after his advent to Mecca, when he migrated to Mecca, after being persecuted out of his own home in Mecca, he goes to Medina. When he gets to Medina, Yasir and then the father of Safiyyah, Huyay, they both go to verify, is this the long-awaited prophet we're anticipating or not? When they saw him and they knew that this was he, they came back in utter disappointment.
Now you would think, why? If that's the one, why? That's the golden question, why?
Why? Because the nubuwah, prophethood, was taken from the Jews.
Bingo.
And given to the Arabs.
Wow, so the arrogance kicks in. He's not one of us, right?
And in Safiyyah,
he's not our skin tone, our color, our people from our tribe, right? See, that's that racism now, huh?
And this is I think, although we can kind of take this in many other directions, is that the truth, it can come from where you expect it the least.
Wow.
Sometimes your own hostile enemy can tell you something that's truthful. You don't disregard it simply because they're your enemy.
Go back so people, they don't miss this point.
Sure.
They went to go see if this was the messenger. They had whatever they had, remnants of the Torah. They're looking, okay, this is the description. They come back. She's listening to this, right? She's listening to this conversation, and the uncle says to him, is this the one? He confirms this is the one.
Yeah. And then
he confirmed Prophet Muhammad is the messenger that they're waiting to come.
Yes.
And we're getting this from her.
Yes,
Is this correct?
She's narrating this. Yeah, it's mind blowing. I agree.
This is like an iman boost. Like when you hear this, it's amazing.
It sounds very different than what Rashid Hamami says, right? Yeah, I mean, he's a good actor though.
Yeah.
I will give him a 5-star review for his acting skills. He's very animated. He's ready to start weeping.
Yes.
Right.
So continue on with the story. Now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Safiyyah radiallahu anha, she says that usually when my uncle sees me, he's just excited, elated to pick me up and play with me. She said this time around was very, very different, very unusual. Is that when they came back, kalayn, right? They were very tired, they were distraught, they were done, right? And then she overhears one speaking to the other. Well, he is he, right? He says yes. He says, well, what do you find in your heart? He says, adawatuhu ma baqit. The enmity is the only thing I have left for him.
Wow.
Yeah. In another narration, actually, by the way, she sees a vision. She sees a vision. She has a dream, right? In one of the narrations, Safiyyah radiallahu anha has a dream. And what she sees in this dream is the la lune, I want to say it in French, I don't know why, the moon falling in her lap. Yeah. Now, she goes later on and she says this, and she repeats it to the husband that she had at the time. She says, I see the moon falling in my lap. So he automatically slaps her right center, dead in the face.
He beat her up pretty bad.
Yes.
Because she still had that bruise later.
Yes, radiallahu anha. And she says, and then, he interprets the dream into the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the moon here is basically the leader of Medina, the Prophet Mohamad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wow. So it was just a matter of time, right? And again,
So that's the prophecy right there that I was talking about.
Yes.
So in this dream, she didn't know what it was. She didn't know what this meant. So she went to her husband. He actually interpreted the dream that the moon resembled the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's gonna. What's the area that they were in? The area that they were in, that it was going to come over this area. That was the conquering of the area.
And
then she would be marrying him. He said, "What do you want with this? The king of the Arabs or whatnot?"
Right,
and then he ends up beating her up.
Yeah.
And so this is the prophecy being fulfilled. This is amazing.
Yeah. Firsthand. Yeah.
Firsthand, narrated from her.
Yeah.
He skipped all this conveniently.
Conveniently.
Yeah. So we can see there's a big lesson here. You see, like you were saying, when you take the text out of context, you don't put it in its proper. And
that again, coming from it's beyond me as to why he will. See, wallahi, I'm very disappointed. Because you listen, we can differ, but we can still have some integrity.
Yeah.
But it's hard to have a fruitful conversation with someone who lacks just the basic, decent, just a medicum of integrity.
Wow.
Someone such as Rashid al-Hamami.
So what happens after this now? So they confirm that he is the messenger. They're going to go ahead and beat. He says he's going to be an enemy of mine till the death, because he's not one of us now. He's not someone from their descendants, right?
Yep.
So what happens from there?
So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, fast forwarding to Ghazwat Khaybar, right? Where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam later on ends up marrying.
But before that, so he marries her. But before that, didn't he try to assassinate the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Didn't he try to kill him? He became an enemy of state. Did we cover that?
Huyay ibn Akhtab. That was the thing, though. All of them. The first tribe was Bani Qaynuqa.
Yeah.
Then after that, Bani Nadir, and then
he's from Banu Nadir. This one.
Yes. But that's the thing, though. Bani Nadir. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not. By the way, he did not kill them. He did not. He
exiled them.
He exiled them to Khaybar, and many of them
Khaybar,
went.
That's the place. Khaybar. That's it. Yes.
Khaybar with a kha. So the people, Huyay ibn Khabib al-Nadri. That's why we say Safiyyah bint Huyay ibn Akhtab al-Nadri.
Yes.
Right. Yes, they were taken, and that's exactly what happened.
Okay, he showed mercy in this case. Also, he let them go. Actually, according to the cult, the time, the laws, this man, he went and tried to assassinate the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. So he ended up he exiled him. And then he went and tried to wage a world war with all the tribes and everyone to go ahead and annihilate Islam, annihilate the Prophet Muhammad. Because that's what he said. He executed him. At the end, then he